Hi stamping friends, I'm Karina with karinascreations.com and I've been asked to make a video for this fancy fold card. So this fancy fold card was part of my stamp set of the month. Stamp set of the month includes a stamp set and then 3 hand stamped cards and the instructions to make the cards. This one's a little tricky, which is why I'm doing a video. Isn't it pretty? Here's another design done with the Moroccan Designer Series paper. And I just like the fact that it stands and then you can write your greeting on the back. Okay, so to make this card, you're going to take a piece of cardstock. It's 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and you're going to get out your Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer. I'm using the cutting blade. I'm lining up this edge at 3/4 of an inch, which is why the Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer is nice, because it's got measurements at the side. And I am going to place my cutting blade down at 1 1/4 inch and then cut down to 7 1/4 inches. And then I'm flipping it around and I'm going to repeat on the other side. So again, line it up at 3/4 of an inch here. Put my cutting blade down from 1 1/4 inch to 7 1/4 inches. Okay, now we are going to do a little bit of scoring. So I'm going to remove my cutting blade, or slide it down here, take out my scoring blade, and my first score line, I'm only scoring in between the 2 inside cut lines. So I'm going to line this up at 1 1/4 inch, and I'm scoring in between the 2 lines. So it works out to be 3/4 of an inch down to 4 3/4. And then you need to slide this down to 2.5 inches. And again, score in between your 2 cut lines. Then you're going to slide it down to 6 inches. And then you get to open up your paper trimmer. And then the last score line is 7 1/4 inches. Okay, now you're going to need 2 outside cut lines, outside of the cut lines here. And the first one is at 4 1/4 inch. And then the next one is at 6 3/4 of an inch. So 6 3/4. And again, we're just going from the outside edge to the first cut line. Okay, that is going to make your card. So basically how it works is we need to do some folding. We're going to start in the middle. We're doing a mountain fold and a valley fold. Mountain fold and a valley fold. This outside score line at 4 1/4 inch is going to be a mountain. This one is going to be a valley. So isn't that cute and easy? Now I was asked how you cut the Designer Series paper so that it fits perfectly. So if you don't feel like embossing or stamping, you can use our gorgeous Designer Series paper. You need 2 pieces, and they are 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and I like to do them at the same time. And I'm going to take this edge here and place it at 1/2 inch now. And then I'm going to take my cutting blade this time, not my scoring blade, my cutting blade, and run it down to 3 inches. Now this is a bit tricky because my paper is so dark. So sometimes I cheat and slide a piece of white paper in to see how far down I need to go. So that's 3 inches there. And then I'm turning the paper around, lining it back up at 1/2 inch. And this time I want it to go from the bottom up to 1 inch. So again, we'll put my paper down so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to run it up from the bottom down to 1 inch. Right, and that gives me my 2 cuts. And now I'm just going to cut in the center, which I believe is at 3 inches. And again, it's about 3/4 of an inch that I cut. So I'll bring it down here, make sure everything's lined up, and hope for the best. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So this is what it looks like now. You've got your designer series paper. One side will be glued on here. The other side gets glued on there. And then to make these inside panels, you need to have them, can't even remember how tall these are now or how big these are. You can also use your grid paper as a ruler, which is nice. They're 4 inches long, so we need 3/4 of an inch, I think, by 1. I'm going to test one just in case. So if we do 1 inch by 3/4, 3 3/4 of an inch. Let's see if it'll fit in this inside panel. Yes, it does. Okay, so now I need another one, now that I know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm lining this up at the 1 inch mark on this side. You can use this side too, it really doesn't matter. But we're just cutting it there. And it needs to be 3 3/4 of an inch. And then I'll show you what the card looks like now that my pieces are cut. So you have your fun outside designer series paper. You have this piece for this panel, this piece on this panel, and then this one here. And isn't that gorgeous? And that's basically how you make your card. And then of course you need your center panel. You just measure that out. I can't remember the measurement right now, but that is how you make this cool card, and I hope you will try it. And I'm a Canadian demonstrator, so if you need any supplies, I would be happy to help you. And I will put details on my blog about this card. So I hope you'll try this card and have a great day. Happy stamping!